Okay.
Okay, we're ready.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Exploring Online Learning Communities. I'm Brad Curry, along with Dr. Alexandra Salas. We, over the next hour, will show you some great ways to connect with other like-minded educators from around the world using social media. It's a great place to share, learn, and reflect. Please utilize the hashtag writer PLN during this webinar and in the future to share great content across various social media channels. I'm Brad Curry, Rider University class of 2001. Currently I'm the supervisor of instruction and assistant principal for the Chester School District in Chester, New Jersey. This is my 16th year in education. I'm also the founding partner of Evolving Educators, LLC, a company committed to providing innovative professional development. I'm a Google trainer and author, ASD Emerging Leader, and Visionary Assistant Principal of the Year.
Hi there. This is Alexandra, and I'm the Dean at Mercer County Community College's Division of Innovation, Online Education, and Student Success. I am an instructional designer by trade, an education consultant, and an instructional technology coach. And I also do adjunct teaching in a variety of disciplines, including communication, education tech, and political science. So I'm very happy to be with you today.
So looking at the objectives for today's webinar, two main things here. You're going to gain exposure to the role social media plays as educators grow professionally, and you're going to come away with a working knowledge of various online tools as a way to share, reflect, and learn. Right now, I'm going to ask you to participate in this Poll Everywhere poll. And the question is, what is your experience with social media and online communities? So right now you can respond by visiting pollev.com/Brad M. Curry, or you can text Brad M. Curry to 36707 to join, and then text your message. We'll give you a moment to do that. What is your experience with social media and online communities?
And while everyone is responding to the poll, Poll Everywhere is a real instrumental tool that you can use amongst your colleagues and also with your students. It's an impromptu way to get feedback and make connections and analyze your audience. Oh, we're getting some responses.
This is great, and I see so many responses here. People saying that Facebook is a way to connect and to learn. That's definitely a tool that we're going to be showing you today. Most people use it for personal reasons. You can use it for professional reasons. Many use Instagram, Twitter, all those sorts of things. So we're going to go over those tools. Again, as Alex just stated, Poll Everywhere is a great tool to utilize in the classroom setting, or with an audience to engage people in the virtual world. In fact, right now for this webinar, we're using a Google slide presentation, and in the slide presentation is an extension for Poll Everywhere where you can embed polls that you create on Poll Everywhere and put them into the presentation. So we're going to exit this poll right now and move on. And feel free to continue to add to this poll. I'll leave it live for the next hour, and feel free to contribute. Maybe we'll visit it again at the end. So just as you can see here, just real quick, if you're in a Google Slide presentation, you'll have a Poll Everywhere option here. And what you need to do first, though, is go to the Chrome store and download the extension. So if you go into the Chrome store, download the Poll Everywhere extension, go into a presentation, go out of it, and then you'll notice when you go back into it that this Poll Everywhere tab will be there, and then you can start the embedding process. All right, let's move on here with our webinar. And these are some of the tools of the trade that we're going to be discussing here today, along with a few other tools that really help with building and maintaining an online community. Because we all know to be successful, educators, professionals need to have a network of people in the physical world, but more importantly now with the technology that we have at our fingertips in the virtual world. And just like with students, and we try to differentiate instruction because we know that everybody learns differently, well, everybody networks differently. And there's not one tool that is the end-all be-all, okay? For me, it's Twitter. For others, it might be YouTube. For others, people may like Pinterest. Maybe some like blogs, okay? But I think it's really not an option anymore that people use a network of some sort. You have to use a network. Everybody's doing great things. People need to know about it. You need to share. The more you share, the more you can gain access to great ideas and bring them back to the classroom to impact student success and obviously also enhance your effectiveness as an educator.
And just to add to that, what these tools enable us to do is to scaffold and our learning and our connections to others, and it enables the students and the faculty and the people who are using it. The learning is exponential and the connectivity is exponential. So you don't have to be beholden to all of these. You can choose one, but the ability to share is facilitated in such a way that had not been available to us prior to these tools being part of our arsenal right now. So we can move on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex.
So,
Alex, yeah, go ahead, Alex. Go ahead. Yep.
I was just going to say that, to build on that, I thought that we thought it would be a good idea to have you share. And so if you want to take a moment, I can also, if you're able to click on the form, actually, I'll click on the form. Or actually, you have to click on the form, Brad.
I got it.
And if you can share the link in the chat, then everyone can add whatever information they might be able to to share with everyone.
Yep.
So in this form, you have a variety of tools. So either Pinterest or LinkedIn or Google Plus community or a website that you might use or Facebook groups. And we thought we would build this contact form and then share it with the group, and that way it just exposes you, number one, to people who were interested in learning more about online communities, and as you create them, you can add them to this list, and we can build our own personal and professional learning network just through this webinar. So you'll have
Alex, I just posted it into the chat. Link to that, so hopefully we'll see some people pop on. Please let us know if that link worked. It should have worked. I see some people popping in now, so hopefully you're able to do that. We'll go back to the tiny URL that you can utilize, for this Google Sheets document. Again, as Alex said, to add, we see here Kaylee adding her information. This will be a great go-to resource moving forward. And please, if you know somebody that couldn't make it today to the webinar, please share this with them so that they too can benefit from the connections that we're going to establish today and continue to utilize moving forward. There's the tiny URL one more time to access the Google Sheets document. And as we said before, it is added into the chat feature of the webinar.
Terrific. So I'll be looking at the forum from time to time and see who's started to share.
So we really need to ask ourselves a question. Are you evolving as an educator? Whether you're a pre-service teacher, a teacher who has been in the profession for many years, whether you're higher ed or elementary ed, you really have to ask yourself this question pretty much on a daily basis. Are you evolving as an educator? And if you can truly say yes, then obviously you're helping yourself out, and ultimately you're helping your kids out, your students, and that's really important. And so, some other questions that kind of spin off of this main question, and looking at the word evolve, are you engaging in professional growth opportunities? Today we're going to be talking about online learning communities. But are you engaging in professional growth opportunities, both in the physical and virtual world? Do you value relationships and networking? So once you establish those relationships in the virtual and physical world with educators, do you truly value that? Do you value the relationships? Do you value the networking? All right, and if you can find a way to do that, maybe it's not every day, maybe it's on a weekly basis, will see that pride, that passion, that continuous evolving as an educator sort of thing. Orienting to innovative best practices. Are you orienting yourself to innovative best practices? This is a great example here, this webinar. Today we're going to talk about some great ideas, some resources. You've shared some already in that Poll Everywhere poll, but are you orienting yourself to innovative best practices? And then once you've engaged, once you've valued, once you've oriented, are you launching into new learning opportunities? Are you pushing yourself as an educator? Are you taking risks? Are you connecting with people that you normally wouldn't connect with to learn from them and to apply those things that you've learned to your classroom or to your school or to your district? Are you validating new knowledge and skills? Are you connecting with people, and are you able to validate the great things you're doing by seeking insight and feedback and saying, you know what, you're doing it the right way. Keep taking risks. Keep trying new things. Keep innovating. That sort of thing. And do you embody the characteristics of an evolving educator? Are you on social media feeds? Are you sharing? Are you helping others out? Are you providing opportunities for yourself and others to learn in ways once thought unimaginable? All right, so that's what we're talking about when we speak to the idea of evolving as an educator. You can visit www.evolvingeducators.com for more information related to evolving as an educator. So let's look at the research here, and I'm sure Alex can provide some insight as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite people in the field of research, educational research, is John Hattie. And John Hattie has written a series of books, part of the Visible Learning series. And if you haven't bought his books or looked at his books, I encourage you to do that. At the very least, go ahead and Google Visible Learning, and you'll come across his website. and there's some tremendous resources there. But I kind of went through his research a little bit and wanted to share, two or three things that kind of relates to what we're talking about today here over the next hour. And what does the research say as it relates to online learning communities, as it relates to educators collaborating? One of the things that he talks about is collective teacher efficacy. And anything over a 0.40 effect size, in this case 1.57, has this huge impact on student learning. So what Hattie's telling us here is that when teachers come together, whether it's in the physical or virtual world, talk about best practices, look at the data, share ideas, reflect on what they're doing, and really try to impact student success in a good way, that you'll really see student learning improve.
I just wanted to add to that and say that in addition to the research, pedagogically speaking, the use of online communities enhances communication, the education experience for those participating in the online communities. It expands presence, whether it's a social presence or your teaching presence. It expands, our cognitive abilities and the students' cognitive abilities because of the use of multimedia that many of these communities support. It also facilitates participation. Geography is no longer an issue. You don't have to be in the classroom to use these communities. It breaks those barriers and those walls down. In addition, it broadens levels of engagement, collaboration, coordination. It's those connections that you want to build. And I guess lastly, it motivates critical thinking and reflection because, you can embed online communities in synchronous interactions, but it could also be synchronous, something that you go back to. You can use it as a webliography or, an archive of sorts that you can add to and go back and reflect. And it's not just materials that you post. You have access to information and knowledge sharing by others. Okay.
All right. So, a personal story of growth here for me. 5 or 6 years ago, I was not a part of any online communities, let alone any really learning communities in the physical world either. And I was at a conference in I think 2011, 2012, and I attended a workshop on PLNs, personal learning networks or professional learning networks, and I was inspired by the presenter, Eric Scheninger. I was inspired by what he was able to accomplish as an educator and learn from as an educator in the virtual world using tools like Twitter. And from that point forward, I hopped onto Twitter. I gave it a try, and over the years, I really it just worked for me. I was able to access great ideas, great resources, and share some great resources and great ideas. And over time, I was able to build a network of thousands and thousands of people that I could go to 24/7 to learn from and to enhance my effectiveness as an educator. And so it does take time, but the idea is you start somewhere and you build it up slowly. And so that's my personal story of growth.
Just to follow up on that, my use of Twitter is more to be able to document some of my experiences, my professional development experiences. So when I travel to conferences, when I present, or when I'm an attendee, I use that to narrate. And also, I build a repository of all these different experiences. And then we'll talk about it later, but you're able to storyfy it. So it's not like you have to go through all of your tweets. You're able to take that information that you've captured, what stuck with you, what really resonated with you when you were attending or facilitating a session, and then you can go back to that and build on it. So you have this dictionary, or as I said earlier, a repository of tweets that add to your knowledge base. And then Brad is going to talk about how to organize that information later on. But it's also a very useful tool, easy tool for collaboration. It's microblogging. Some people don't have the time to spend, countless hours or however long it takes to create a couple of paragraphs or an essay, something that they want to share in a blog, something or a journal that's lengthier. And so by having this opportunity to, in 140 characters, and which you can add on to by having links or images, or videos, it's just really outstanding, an outstanding opportunity that we should all, that's afforded to us through the technology. All right, Brad.
And I have to, agree wholeheartedly with Alex. Great point there about, being able to kind of archive, your experiences at events, even an event like this webinar right now. Okay, whether you are a part of it or you're chiming in late or you couldn't make it, we kind of created a hashtag a little bit ago, the writer PLN hashtag, and Kaylee's doing a tremendous job of archiving her learning experiences, as you can see here, on Twitter through this hashtag as we go through this journey, not only in this webinar but in the future. So, kudos to Kaylee for coming up with this idea for a hashtag for this experience, and just to kind of build a community from the people that are participating in this webinar moving forward. And this is a great visual and something that I go back to time and again, created by Sylvia Duckworth. If you follow her on Twitter, at Sylvia Duckworth, she is someone who loves to create visuals for educators to enjoy and learn from. And this is called the Connected Educator, and it goes over, what a professional learning network is all about. And I'm not going to go through every single point here. But some of the important concepts on this visual, some things that stick out to me. One is on the right-hand side there, can turn to PLN for help at any time of the day. That's pretty cool, and then that's something that I really appreciate as an educator. That at any time of the day, somebody is on Twitter, and you can reach out to them or just tweet something out, ask a question, and more than likely somebody will get back to you. If they don't get back to you, reach out to me, and I'll retweet your tweet, and maybe somebody will get back to you then. But that's really what PLNs are all about, and it's all about collaboration. It's all about staying on top of pedagogically sound best practices that enhance your effectiveness and promote the success of students.
Right, but before you go on, Brett, I just wanted to say that sometimes in the world of online and the Internet of Things, sometimes there's this perception of loneliness, that everyone's working in isolation, it's just you and the computer. But the reality is that this is an evolution of the listserv, where people who are interested or are like-minded or want to be able to have discussions, meaningful discussions at any given time. It's 24/7. We're not burdened by as I said, by boundaries, geography, walls, etc., or even time. We have these professional learning networks available to us, and we're not alone. And some are more synchronous than others. And sometimes you participate, and it's live, and you can post something and someone will get right back to you. And so it's always an opportunity to meet someone new and to add to our interests and to our knowledge. So it's a great asset.
So let's get into this here. And one of the first things I want to talk about is Twitter. Okay. That image that you see there of the Twitter building, I took that picture a couple of years ago, driving by. It was a Sunday, so they weren't open. So I didn't think they were open, so I was able to drive by and take a picture. And Todd Whitaker, somebody that you should look up, a tremendous author and speaker as it relates to educational leadership and doing what's best for kids in the classroom, school, and district. He summed it up pretty well with a tweet one day, And every time I see him speak, he kind of references this tweet. Twitter is the best PD in the world. It's not an obligation. Email is an obligation. And that's true, and that could apply to any social media tool that you use. Again, Twitter is great for me. For others like Pinterest, things like that. It shouldn't be an obligation. Anytime I hop onto Twitter, I get excited to learn and to share and to reflect.
And before we go on to look at the video, I just wanted to mention that it's short, it's sweet, it facilitates brief but constant and rich communication exchanges, and it's also multi-directional. So, it's not just you sitting there, there's information constantly coming in. And if you want to personalize it, or if you want to tag someone or communicate directly with them, you can. So it's a fantastic tool.
Absolutely. So let's take a look here at this video. We're going to see if this video will work. It should. I'm going to hit the play button, and hopefully you can enjoy along here. I think hopefully everybody's on mute there, Alex, and I think we should be good here if I play the video. Let's see.
All right, tonight, make sure that you bring home your folder and your science book, review section 1.2 and 1.3 vocabulary, be ready for tomorrow's quiz. Have a good night. This is a good class. It's for your actual engagement are going to
I'm new to Twitter and I'm currently using it to get new ideas for my classroom, to better my teaching, and also to share information with colleagues.
It connects you to people that are like-minded, and so you can share resources with one another.
I like to use it to send messages and do my own learning and share my learning with others that I'm connected to.
I use Twitter to connect to other technology coaches around the world.
It creates a forum for educators to exchange ideas that can be useful in the classroom.
Twitter has helped me professionally become a stronger learner, an active learner.
Twitter is my personal professional development. I use it to share with colleagues, collaborate, and get inspired by other people's work.
So you can see there the power of Twitter from a video standpoint. Hopefully you're able to hear that and see that. And it's just something that it's my go-to video to show in a very brief way how Twitter can help educators. Alex?
Yes, I was going to add a link to Storyfy. So I was actually posting it on the presentation as you were talking. But I have
for the hashtag?
Yeah, I'm adding it to the hashtag slide. So if you bear with me for a second.
Sure.
Yeah, it's on one of the upcoming slides. So you'll see it, and then we can link to it, and I'll post it. Oh, there you go.
Great. Thank you. So let's get back into this here. And here's an actual tweet from the Ryder School of Education back in December, and it's just an example here of a resource being shared. There was a resource that somebody on this Twitter handle came across from ISTE. ISTE is a great organization for educational technology. Look it up. They have great standards for educators to reference as they look to integrate technology effectively. And you can see here in 140 characters or less, which is what you have, you're able to do a lot. You're able to tag different people. These are Twitter handles here, people related to Rider University or Rider University alum, and then an article, a link to a blog or an article, online article. And so that's the power of Twitter. As Alex referred to earlier, it's a form of blogging. It's microblogging. It's sweet. It's to the point. It's simple, and you're able to share through the retweet button. You're able to favorite tweets that people push out, and you're able to respond with the little arrow here. So you could respond to the Rider U School of Ed and just say, hey, thank you, or hey, did you check out this article? It's similar to the one that you just shared. Those sorts of things.
All right.
So let's take a look at hashtags. Hashtags are very useful for people to connect and archive with, and so especially on Twitter. And one of the questions that you want to ask here is, what purpose do hashtags serve? And again, basically, it's a way, either on Twitter or another social media channel, to archive, to organize information that's specific to a topic or a feature or a conversation, a thread on a tool like Twitter. And what hashtags should you follow, particularly as it relates to Twitter? SatChat is a great chat. It's a chat that myself and a few others, Scott Rocco and Billy Krakauer, created 5 years ago to kind of bring educators together on Saturday mornings at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and for an hour just kind of talk about different topics related to education. So that's what we did with SatChat. For many of you on this webinar, you're new teachers or going to become a teacher or work with new teachers. NT Chat is a great chat that I think happens every Wednesday night. But outside of the actual chat going on Twitter, you can follow these hashtags 24/7, and people use these hashtags to share ideas and share articles and resources and things outside of the actual chat. And you can find archived hashtag content on a variety of tools. Alex will speak to Storify in just a moment. But Participate Learn is a great, what's now called Participate, is a great tool to learn from and to look at hashtags related to different chats. So if you visit this page here, participate.com, and go to chats, you can go to engage and look at all these hashtags just on this day. Okay, on this day, January 26th, Thursday, this is how many education chats are going on. And there's a calendar here of all the different chats that take place on all the different days. It's pretty amazing. There's a chat for everything. There's a hashtag for every educational topic you can think of. And again, this is more along the lines of Twitter, but you get the idea.
And I think what's exciting is the fact that we get not only to curate our own information, but we become content developers. We can create our own hashtags. And sometimes you find that the hashtag you're creating already exists, but then you can modify it, or you can follow those hashtags that have been established, but you can build your own. And then notice if someone's following you, and build a community in that manner. So there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah, case in point, we just created, right before the webinar, a Rider PLN hashtag. So those are the sorts of things that you can do. Nobody owns hashtags. at least not at this point, and it's something you can do at any time.
Somebody will monetize a hashtag pretty soon, but not
Is
yet.
that right? So yeah, just very briefly, you can go over this more when you look at the archive of this webinar. But I've given you a regimen here of things you can do if you're new to Twitter, or if you've been on Twitter for a while and you're kind of want a refresher. Things you can do as an educator to kind of use Twitter the right way, and you can apply this regimen to any social media channel, not just Twitter. But it's just something that month by month that you can use, from just logging in to following new people to eventually tweeting out links. Everybody's always worried about their first tweet. More likely than not, people aren't going to see your first tweet. So it's okay. It's not the best thing in the world, but you do want to take that first step. And then over time, you join a Twitter discussion. You kind of promote the use of Twitter and the use of PLNs with other people that you know, and kind of model it. And then you go on and on and on. You start to integrate it into other aspects of your educational life, and then over time, it just becomes a part of who you are as an educator. And to get off on the right foot, I suggest that you follow. Obviously, you follow myself and Alex. I'm at Brad M. Curry. Alex, what's your handle? Okay.
EDU Tech Talk.
Yeah. So Brad M. Curry and EDU Tech Talk. But I gave you some people here at Cybraryman. He has a web page for every educational topic that you can think of. Eric Scheninger, Monica Burns at Class Tech Tips, Alice Keeler if you want to know about Google stuff, and Star Saxteen, Miss Saxteen. Some organizations that you want to probably follow on Twitter: Edutopia, Teaching Channel, Mindshift, Education Week, and of course, Rider School of Ed.
Right, and so I posted in the chat the link to the Storyfied, an example of a Storyfied. I wonder if you can click on that.
Yeah.
Just to show. So what happens is, like for example, I think it's Kaylee who's tweeting. So what you can do? Oh, it's not.
Let's see here if it's coming up. Let me go back into the chat. Yeah, it might be my network may have blocked it here in my school.
All right,
So
but why don't you just click on storyfied.com? Because everyone
Okay.
if they can click on it if they want to see it in the chat. And if you go to storyfied.com,
It's blocking me. I'm
it's
sorry.
blocking you? Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Sorry about that.
you'll have the link, and what you do is you go into where you see browse, and it organizes the different tweets that have been storyfied, and you can pull from your various experiences and put together something that you can embed. You can share it on Facebook, you can share it on Twitter, you can email the link, and it's just a nice way to organize some of your experiences, and it's a good way to share. So the way I use it is when I go to a conference or I present somewhere and then I'm attending different sessions, I'm constantly tweeting, I'm using the hashtag, and then when I get back, I log into storyfy.com and I create I storyfy that particular conference or where I attended, and it's a nice way. You can print it out. And it has different ways of viewing it. So it makes it really convenient if someone wants to follow you, or if you're doing a trip report. And it's wonderful for students too as a tool for, let's say you assign them, it's a project-based learning assignment, and you want them to, come back and write a narrative based on whatever it is that they did. If they're tweeting, then they can storyfy it. It becomes something bigger, and then they can take that and use it to fully embellish it and turn it into an essay or some sort of a paper, because they've already started documenting it. I mean, it's great as a prompt, that's used for further expansion. Okay.
And some resources to help you out with Twitter as we wind down with our look at Twitter. Yeah, a great book, not because I've written it, but 140 Twitter Tips for Educators. Get connected, grow your professional learning network, and reinvigorate your career. It's a step-by-step guide. It's for newbies. It's for veterans of Twitter to help you out, to push you and to make you think in ways that you haven't thought, and just kind of connect with people and to learn from all the great connections you have on Twitter. Check it out, 140 Twitter Tips for Educators.
Okay, and there's also the Simple Twitter book, and there's a link to it on the next slide if you're interested in taking a look at, just an overview. These are some resources, and we'll share this presentation with you, so all the links are live. These are various articles and resources online that speak to the benefits of using Twitter and how can it improve engagement and be a part of your network for communication, also for learning.
And just a quick plug, third annual Tomorrow's Classrooms Today conference, Saturday, May 20th at Rider University. Get $10 off if you use the code Angela. Angela Watson is going to be the keynote speaker, so there is pricing for college students as well, but you get $10 off registration by using the code Angela. Visit www.evolvingeducators.com for more details. So now we're going to get into blogs, okay? And something that has been a part of my life for the last 5 years, whether it's reading or writing blogs. I'm a voracious reader of blogs. That's something that I find very useful on a daily basis to kind of stay in the loop and try to push myself to new limits. But there's some great blogs that you can stay on top of. If you are in an iPad school or enjoy iPads, have iPads in your classroom, Monica Burns at Class Tech Tips is a great resource for you to look at. Her blog is tremendous, and there's Monica here. And if you go to her blog, almost every day Monica pushes out a new blog post highlighting a particular app or a particular resource. Okay, and you can see here some of the things she's written about over the last couple of weeks, and she does a tremendous job. And what she'll do is she will, if you click on, say this, showcase student work with a bold, they must have digital portfolio tool. You click on this blog, and it'll bring you to more information about this blog, about this particular tool. And you go through it, and you see what she's talking about. And she'll also link you to her Teachers Pay Teachers site, where you can find more lessons and things related to that particular tool that she's highlighting. So check out classtechtips.com. And Richard Burney Richard Byrne has a site called Free Technology for Teachers. And Alice Keeler, go to alicekeeler.com. She has a great site for Google tools, particularly Google Classroom. And it's a great way. Blogs are a great way to stay informed, to share with your personal learning network, to improve school culture, and to see that people are in similar situations that you're in, that they're experiencing the same things. And blogs could be a paragraph long. They could contain videos, audio clips, all sorts of interactive things. And so just try to read some blogs and stay connected. And I encourage you, whether you're a pre-service teacher or a veteran teacher, to blog yourself. People want to hear what you have to say. All right? They really do. And everybody has something great to share. They really do. And blogs are a great way to tell your personal story, to tell your classroom story, your school story, your district story, or just to share your passions. A lot of times I'll blog about ed tech. That's my passion. That's why I like write about. People enjoy it, and I like to read and write about ed tech. You can use sites like Medium or Weebly, WordPress, Tumblr to blog. Many of these tools have an app that you can download onto your mobile device, and you can blog right from your app. It doesn't have to be too long, and people like, to be honest with you, people like short and simple blog posts. If they go on for 10, 15 paragraphs, your people are going to lose interest. Short and to the point. And some exemplars, you can look at Eric Scheninger's blog posts, Pernille Rip, Star Saxteen. Let's take a look at Pernille Rip's blog. Pernille is an educator from out in Wisconsin, and she focuses on literacy. And it looks like she just posted a new blog post called "The Grading Conversation We Need to Have," and she goes into grading and just some things you need to consider about grading in your classroom setting.
And what's interesting about the blogs is that, I mean, there's also through Google. If you have a Gmail account, there's a Google app, and you can start your blog there. I mean, it's great way to share. You can embed, and you can link, and you can email, and also archive the various stories. And what I like to do is link the blogs and embed them into a classroom setting, whether, in your learning management system. It's another way to share information with students and share it with your colleagues as well.
Voxer is a great tool that you could check out. You can download it for free on your laptop or on your mobile device. It's a tap-to-talk app. You can have conversations with one person or a group of people, and you can listen to the conversations in real time or at your leisure. And so I encourage you to visit Voxer.com to check it out at some point in time. Many educators from around the world are connecting on Voxer, and as we know, everybody learns differently. So some people who may not like Twitter or tweets, they can go to Voxer and they can listen to people talk about various educational topics, and you can connect with people. If you visit Cybraryman's webpage on Voxer, he actually has some great resources on how to set up Voxer, how to use Voxer, people to follow on Voxer. There's actually a EduVoxer's PLN document that you can access and see here the different handles for people related to Voxer. Alex is now going to go into VoiceThread.
Right, and before you click on the video, I want to say that VoiceThread has been around for several years now, and it's constantly updating and evolving. It's a wonderful multimedia tool that is very conscious of accessibility. So you have text, you have video, and you can doodle, you can have images. So it really appeals to all kinds of learners. And it's wonderful, not just for sharing, but also for commenting. So if you can click on the video, we could take a look.
It turns out that most of your online conversations will be centered around some kind of digital media. Maybe you're taking a course of some kind, or maybe you just want to discuss the complex themes behind classic film. Whatever the topic, it's likely that images, videos, presentation slides, and documents are going to be the central driver behind your conversations. But unless you've scheduled a meeting, your discussions are going to be text-based. And well, because of this, they're going to be a little flat compared to the real thing. Text, it turns out, is often ambiguous, and it's a poor conveyor of human presence, while voices, faces, and drawings are incredibly nuanced and tell us so much more about what people are really thinking. Voice threading is an answer to this conundrum that lets people have much more human conversations about media without any scheduling. And best of all, it does this very simply. Kindergartners around the world are using it every day, but so are architects and scientists. If you think an emoticon is just a fine replacement for a human, then voice threading is not for you. But if you're looking for a more authentic way to connect with people, then voice threading is exactly what you've been waiting for.
Okay, Brad, if you don't mind just scrolling back, I wanted to show everybody what those little tiles meant. If you go back to the video
Okay.
and just play it real quick.
It turns out that
You can
unless you've
fast
scheduled
forward
a
it a little
meeting,
bit, like
Right
right
here?
there. Yeah. So for example, imagine you have a PowerPoint. You upload it to VoiceThread, correct? Now you're the organizer, so you can use the video, your webcam, and you can post a comment. You can also caption it by having a text, a text-based comment as well, which could be a transcription of what you're saying. Now, all these other individual thumbnail tiles surrounding the center of the presentation are other people that are viewing your voice thread and also commenting on them. It's great for language learning. It's great for just enhanced discussions, and they're a permanent fixture. It's a package of and they call it voice threading now. So you can go back to it. It's another way of posting reflections. So discussions are no longer, not that they're a thing of the past, but this is a way, and you can embed this pretty much anywhere, and you can send a link and people can participate. So it's just another neat tool available to us all.
And as we have about 5 or 10 minutes left here in our webinar, we're going to get into Facebook here a little bit. Facebook is a tool that many of us use for personal reasons, but it's also a great tool to enhance your professional growth. And some groups that you want to maybe check out on Facebook, if you're into literacy, check out the Heart of Literacy. If you are looking at different grading philosophies, check out Teachers Throwing Out Grades. Peter DeWitt has started a great page group called Instructional Leadership for classroom, school, and district leaders, and just some tremendous resources. There's also some pages, the Hack Learning page, if you're looking to kind of attack learning in a unique way, check out the Hack Learning page. There's a Sat Chat Facebook page, and even though you're not from California, check out the Better Together California page. Just a group of educators that are sharing resources and things, not only in California but from around the world. And the bottom line is, if you go onto Facebook and you use the search button and you type in various educational topics, you'll definitely find something that suits your needs. Some other resources that you want to kind of be aware of and that may work for you that we won't really get into today are LinkedIn, YouTube, Google Plus, and Pinterest. And I encourage you. Many of the resources that are shared on tools like Twitter and Facebook are also shared on LinkedIn, YouTube, Google Plus, and Pinterest. This looks a little different, but people like the formatting and the feel of these tools as opposed to a Facebook or a Twitter. And there's just so many educators on these social media platforms that you will find it very beneficial.
And just to comment a little bit on the Google Plus, those online communities can be private or public, and we'll send you, when you get our presentation, you'll get a listing of a link where you'll be able to filter and see the variety of online communities that are available by area of interest and by subject. It's just countless, and it's very easy to create your own. And also you can request membership, and some you don't even have to request, you can just join. So it's just another useful tool.
And as we wrap up, I think this is a pretty good visual of how you can grow your PLN, how you can grow your online learning community. It kind of starts with planting the seeds, whether it's you're creating accounts or exploring, to then the next level 2, you're cultivating your PLN, you're participating, you're sharing, you're having these online conversations, whether it's through tweets or Facebook posts or Voxes, and you move to, you know, the weeding, streamlining your PLN, kind of really getting into it, finding what works for you through hashtags and different Google Plus communities and Facebook groups that really interest you, and then harvesting the crop, you know, reaping the benefits of your PLN, you know, implementing these ideas, sharing them with others, and then regenerating the crop by harvesting the seeds and rescattering, sharing your knowledge with your PLN, sharing resources and blogs you find on tools like Twitter with others, and encouraging your colleagues to join in the fun and in the learning. That kind of, this visual kind of brings everything we've been talking about over the last hour together. And again, another great image here by Sylvia Duckworth. Right now we're going to turn it over to a Q&A session. Alex, I don't know if you have anything to say here related to the Q&A.
If anyone, I noticed that I was looking at the contact form, and Kaylee was kind enough to add her Twitter handle and her Pinterest. So don't be shy, everyone. This form is yours, and you have our contact information, and it's a nice way, by example, for us to begin to create our own PLN by sharing our various handles, whether, you know, if you have a blog or if you don't have any of these, and as you decide, you know, which one is a good fit for you, please feel free to, you know, plug your handles in, and that way we can stay in touch. So if anyone has any questions about the resources that we shared, or about starting an online community or joining an online community, please feel free to ask us.
All right, we'll move on here. Again, this has been Exploring Online Communities. For Alex, I'm Brad. We thank you again for joining us here over the last hour. Please reach out to us on Twitter or through other social media feeds, or online. You can find us in various ways. Please reach out, connect with us. We're looking forward to learning with you and moving forward. Use the Rider PLN hashtag to share your ideas and thoughts from today's webinar, and to share ideas and resources moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.